This video is starting off a little bit lo-fi, and it's pretty much going to stay this way because this is kind of a vlog style. I'm not using my typical microphone, I'm speaking to the camera, so audio will be what it is. You have to forgive that, but it's not about that. Today is about fragrance, which it always is. We got the newest fragrance from KILIAN, Old Fashioned. I was super excited to try this. I didn't buy this. This was sent to me, but I don't know who sent this to me. This literally showed up in the mail one day. I had a subscriber ask me if KILIAN sent it to me, and I said, nope, they haven't sent it, but I'll try it at some point. Literally a day or two later, it showed up. Here's what the plan is. I'm gonna smell this. I'm gonna give you my first impressions on my hand, just on skin right here. If I like it, which I presume I will, then I'm gonna wear it today. And I'm gonna take you guys along with me on this very lo-fi vlog style video, telling you what the fragrance smells like, how it develops, what my experience is as I go through the world. I have a few things to do today. It's not gonna be a crazy busy day. I will have to do a rehearsal this evening, so later on I'll be preparing for that. I'll show a little bit of my practicing. Gonna go out to a cafe this morning to do some video editing, and we'll be smelling like Old Fashioned if everything goes well. Let's open it up. So don't worry, you're gonna get closer looks of everything in the B-roll, but let's open it up here. All right, so just like all the other liquor collection bottles, I love this look. A lot of people complain that the cap is plastic and they wish it was glass. Honestly, I think that would be problematic if it was glass. I think it would be nice, it'd be cool, but it would be a lot heavier for one. And if you happen to drop it, yeah, there goes your cap. I think it's fine plastic. And it does look good. It goes with the bottle. Looks like a decanter or something, like a whiskey glass or something like that. So I love the look. So I don't know anything about this other than the fact that they say it's supposed to smell like an old fashioned. So that is what I expect. So let's see. Without much further ado, I'm gonna put this right here on the hand. Wow. I'm getting spices and woods right off the bat. Definitely smells like whiskey. It's very woody, sweet and boozy, spicy and warm. No real freshness at all, so this is definitely without ice. I like it. It's coming off simple. It's coming off very specific. I heard that this is supposedly reminiscent of a discontinued fragrance from KILIAN that they call single malt. I haven't tried single malt. I've also heard people say that as this dries down, it actually kind of deviates, but I'm not going to be able to make that comparison because once again, I haven't tried that one. But real quick, while we're here, I do want to check out the notes. Wheat Divana. Divana is this kind of herbal, bitter note. Immortelle and cedar in the heart, Tolu balsam and styrax in the base. So they don't even list a whiskey accord. Obviously, whiskey is not a true note. You don't put whiskey in a fragrance, but it's not even here, which is strange. But it definitely smells like whiskey. But I do get a weediness for sure. I get a lot of woods, even though people are not voting woods as very prominent. And the warmth and sweetness that I get down below might be the resins. I won't say I'm blown away by this, but I like it, I'm intrigued. Let's see what happens as it develops on the body and especially smelling it around. So here we go, let's do... Man, when you first spray it, it smells like whiskey. Like really, really does smell like whiskey. It's crazy. Okay, we got 3 sprays so far. I'm gonna put one under the shirt. That's a personal spray for me. And we got like 1.5 on the hand here. So I'm gonna roll with this for now. I might have to re-up later on because this may not be a super long lasting scent, which is totally fine. I actually wouldn't want a fragrance like this to just be relentless. This kind of scent profile could get a little bit overbearing. So let's see how it does. I look forward to reporting back with how Old Fashioned evolves on my skin, how I feel about it. I'll be giving you my honest thoughts as I always do. I'll see you soon. We are driving. It's been several hours since I applied Old Fashioned and I'm enjoying it. I'm smelling it without much issue around me. I felt like I may have sprayed a little bit conservatively, but I would always prefer to do that, especially on the first wearing, and know that I have room to go up if needed the next time I wear it, or I can always spray on more later. Right now, I'm getting a very woody, warm, resinous fragrance. It is still reminiscent of something boozy or like alcohol or whiskey in a barrel. I am getting that vibe. But The booziness for sure has toned way down, doesn't have that edge anymore. Honestly, I'm reminded of how apple brandy on the rocks dries down in terms of its woodiness. This like old aged like wooden barrel feel. That's the vibe I'm getting out of Old Fashioned right now around me. It is a little understated, it's warming, it smells a little bit elegant, but I think the fact that it's not coming off too heavy makes it pretty versatile. I would say it's even a little bit casual too. It can be worn in a variety of situations as long as it's not too hot outside. This does not really seem to have much of an ounce of freshness outside of that herbal touch from the Divana when you first spray it on, but it immediately becomes warm and woody. And I would say it's wood forward. I'm getting pretty authentically dry woods. I'm actually gonna see Grace here in a quick second. I will see how she feels about it. I may or may not ask her. She might say something, she might not. Sometimes she will say something on her own. So I'll let you know if she does. Anyway, that is the update. I'll be back with more shortly. Yo, so I'm sitting here in front of part of the fragrance collection. Old Fashioned is right here behind me. I actually just saw Grace. She had to run in and run out real quick, so we didn't have time for fun stuff on camera, but she did give me her opinions. I gave her a hug. She took a sniff and she said,
You smell so nice. Is that Kilian?
And I'm like, that's impressive. Yes, it is Kilian. And I said, it's their newest one. It's Old Fashioned. And she said, oh, the only reason why I asked if it was Kilian is because it smells like apple brandy on the rocks. So I'm not the only one who thinks that this smells like apple brandy on the rocks. It really does. It is really nice. It smells of high quality. I love the definitive nature it has. It's very woody. It is a little bit weedy for sure. There's a little bit of that warm resinous sweetness down there that's all subdued. It's a very subdued scent, again, pretty understated, but it smells like apple brandy. It's not identical, but they have the same character to them. And if I'm not mistaken, they might even have the same perfumer. And if that's the case, then this is another one of those cases when you have the DNA of a perfumer coming through in more than one of their creations, especially within the same fragrance brand, and even more especially within the same collection in a fragrance brand. So yeah, maybe there's some things overlapping here in terms of how these fragrances were constructed. I still have plenty of day to live and get to know it a little bit better, but right now it's also coming off a little bit redundant. So more to come on that. I'm gonna see how it really continues to develop throughout the day, but it's good, but I wouldn't get both of these. I can say that easily right now. One or the other would be fine. I will report back shortly. All right, I'm just doing some warming up before I head to rehearsal in probably like 45 minutes. Those of you who know brass instruments, you know that this thing is not a joke. It is unforgiving. It doesn't care how you're feeling. It doesn't care how the body changes day to day, and the body does change day to day while it stays the same. And it laughs at you some days, and some days it works with you. Today, it is laughing at me. It is not really cooperating, and that's because things are not right here. I might be thirsty or something, or hungry, or sleep deprived. I don't know. There's a lot of elements that can affect the way that the lips respond to the air. Right now, my lips feel a little bit leathery, so I'm working a little bit harder to get things locked in. This exercise I'm doing allows me to get my airstream moving through all registers of the instrument, keeping everything even without breaks, without any hindrance of the vibration of the lips. And I do the little, what we call a lip slur or a flexibility trill up at the top register, just to make sure everything is efficient. I'm using my tongue actually to make the pitches change and just kind of working out the mechanism, getting it warmed up. And the tongue plays a really large role in brass playing. So that's what this exercise is. It might sound silly and weird, but it's actually kind of therapeutic, a little bit cathartic, and it just gets me ready to go. quite there yet. I'm gonna play a little etude. Sometimes I like to just read a little something, actually play some music outside of just fundamental warm-ups and things. So I get the mind off of the body and more on the sound, just making beautiful music and playing with good style. So usually we'll play some kind of classical etude. So I'm gonna do that right now. Something steeped more in the classical tradition. I'm gonna play out of a book written by a guy named Theo Charlier, who's a French trumpet player and pedagogue. Yeah, he wrote this etude book that is kind of an institution of its own. It's really a good test for trumpet players to test their technical ability and musicianship. So I'm gonna attempt this one that's all about tonguing. So it's gonna be very kind of percussive sounding, but should still be melodic if I'm doing it right. Man, my lips feel so crappy. Here we go. Far from perfect, but honestly a little bit better than I was expecting. I took it under tempo. It's supposed to be quite a bit faster than that, and it still wasn't super clean. So, but I felt things starting to come together a little bit. I felt the lips start to cooperate a bit. So happy about that. Anyway, you're not here for this. You want to know what Old Fashioned is smelling like. And Old Fashioned is still here. I'm actually smelling it pretty presently. Let's see, it is currently 5:42. I put it on about 10:30. So it's been, is that like 7 hours? 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, going on 8 hours, and it's still present. I'm still smelling it, no problem. I've said this many times, but fragrances tend to last pretty long on me in general. So performance will obviously be different across the board depending on who you ask. So don't take my experience as what you should expect. Yours might be different. I still stand behind what I've said about it being a little bit redundant to Apple Brandy on the Rocks. The perfumer behind this and Apple Brandy on the Rocks is Sidonie Lancaster, who is one of my favorite perfumers, maybe a tiny bit under the radar. But I gotta say, these two releases, again, they may not be identical. I haven't put them side by side, but they feel very similar. They give me the same vibe on my skin. When I get a whiff, I get that dry, slightly sweet, warm woodiness. I'm not disappointed because I like it. I like what I'm smelling. I like the way that I smell, but I could not recommend you run out and go get this new Kilian if you have Apple Brandy on the Rocks. If you don't, then yeah, of course I would recommend trying it, sampling it. I can't tell you if you'd like one or the other more, so that'll be up to you. But if you want to just focus on what's new, what's brand new, then yeah, go sample the new one, Old Fashioned. So anyway, I'm gonna continue practicing here, getting warmed up, and then I'm gonna get some footage of the rehearsal, which is very different from what you just heard. This will be definitely more jazz, swing, some improvisation. We'll see how it goes. It'll be fun. Anyway, I'll see you in the next clip. It is a beautiful evening. I just arrived at rehearsal. So gonna head inside, get re-warmed up, reacclimated, and we'll get started. So I need to wrap up this video, so we're doing that right now. It is the next day, and I told you guys I was gonna have footage of me playing trumpet in the rehearsal. And sometimes things just don't go as planned. I thought I took about 4 videos, putting my phone onto the side and just going about my business in rehearsal, but not realizing that I forgot to put the camera in video mode, so I literally just took 4 photos, 4 glorious, descriptive photos that you see here on screen. Yeah, so unfortunately no footage, but it was a great rehearsal. We're just gonna get down to business here. You wanna know my final thoughts on KILIAN's Old Fashioned. I'll be honest with you, because I'm always honest with you. I don't even know why I said that. It's the only way to be. I like this fragrance. I like it quite a bit, and I like it because I already like apple brandy on the rocks. To me, in my experience, and I might be semi-alone in this is remarkably close in experience, in scent experience, not so much in just the way it smells, but how it feels around you. Up close might be a different story. You can definitely detect differences, but in the air, similar experience. So to me, it's a little bit redundant. I like it, but I can't say run out and get it if you have the other one. As I mentioned, in the deep dry down, it got a little bit more on the resinous side of things. I thought the woodiness was really coming through, and it is. There is a little bit of cedar wood in there, but it's really those resins in the base that kind of take over. But it does have this kind of rough texture to it, almost a dry woody texture, a little bit sweet. The booziness does not persist for very long. It's really at the forefront in the very beginning, maybe the first 5-10 minutes. Overall, as it wears on the skin, it reminds me less and less of an old fashioned. Honestly, I'm not disappointed by that. Ironically enough, you might think, well, that makes this fragrance useless. It has it in the name. It's pointless if it doesn't smell like that. But when you think about it, how could it? I don't know how you could feasibly make this fragrance smell like a boozy old fashioned from top to bottom. Boozy notes, as far as I understand, don't function that way. You can't get them to stick around all the way through the scent for hours and hours and hours. So that's just how it goes. We can't really be mad at that. Those are the limitations in my experience. So I like it. I'd say get a sample, try it at your local store if it's there. Maybe sample it next to apple brandy just to see how you think about both. I will be getting somewhere out of it through the fall and winter, but I don't think I'm gonna be talking about this a whole lot, just because, again, it's not absolutely blowing me away. So those are my honest thoughts on KILIAN Old Fashioned. Once again, it was sent to me. So for those who wonder, can reviewers talk critically about bottles sent to them for free? I wanna know what you think. If you've tried it, let me know down in the comments. And thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.